In a world of challenges and uncertainties, hope shines as a beacon, guiding us through the dark times and showing us the way to brighter days ahead. But what exactly is hope? Where does it come from? And how does it shape our lives? I'm Annie Bennett, and I'd love you to join me on this journey as I explore the meaning of hope. I'll delve into philosophical perspectives, personal stories, and scientific insights to understand the power of this elusive emotion. So whether you're seeking inspiration, comfort, or simply a deeper understanding of the human spirit, let's embark on this exploration together and discover the extraordinary power of hope. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Chronicles of Hope podcast with me, Annie Bennett. Today, I'm delighted to have my guest with me today. It's someone that I've been working with for a little while. We're in a mastermind together, and I've learnt her story, and it's just a brilliant, brilliant story. She is a breakup divorce coach and author, and a few other bits and pieces as well. And we'll get her story. We'll get her story as we go along. But I'm absolutely delighted to introduce Eve Stanway to my podcast today. Hello, Eve.
Hello, thank you so much for having me on, Annie. It's a real privilege,
Oh,
and
it's
I'm
lovely.
grateful to be here.
It's lovely to have you here. Now, the first thing I generally ask my guests is
Mm.
sort of, who are you? What do you do? Where do you come? What's your story? So if you'd like to just fill us in as to what you do and a bit about your story, that would be great.
So I I'm a breakup and divorce coach, which means that I support people. I'm going to say I support people when their marriages are on the rocks. You know that old phrase, your marriage is on the rocks.
Mm,
Yeah. And so I will support people sometimes when their marriage is in a state of jeopardy and
mm,
help them make things better, usually by helping them support communication and actually how to talk about stuff.
mm,
And sometimes I help guide people through the process of separation and divorce because I believe at my heart that although marriages may end, relationships don't actually have to end.
mm,
And if we're parents, which I was during my own separation and divorce, and when I was a child and my parents got divorced, protecting the landscape for children is really, really important. And it doesn't matter whether those children are young or whether those children are in their 20s or 30s or even in their 40s. Separation in a family can be devastating. And so, from a career in psychotherapy and hypnotherapy, I decided actually this was kind of an area of real passion and mission for me. And I thought, I like getting into difficult conversations. And to be honest, where better can you go? It's one of the top areas for difficult conversations. So I thought I'll land
mm.
there. And I really love doing it. I feel very honored and privileged to do it. And yeah,
Mm. Oh, wonderful.
so
So
I'm
tell me
willing.
about how it sort of began, because I'm fascinated as to how people sort of start the careers that they and the businesses that they have. So when did it all? You said that you had a breakup of your own. Did it come from there, or was it from
It, it, it did. I think going through my own divorce and breakup, I mean, you'll know this from yourself, the real experience of how lonely and isolating, and actually how hard it is to get information that you need. It's this feeling that we live in the information age, and all you have to do is Google it, and you can find out everything that you need, but you can't.
Mm,
And also, when we go through really difficult transitions, often there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of worry. We've had our future taken away. We don't know what's going to happen. And I always knew divorce and breakup was very, very impactful because as a therapist, so many anxieties and problems that we have, it's like, tell me about your childhood. And you'll be learning about the difficulties of being a child. And then, and obviously, I knew my own difficulties of being a child. I had, there's a thing called adverse childhood experiences, and there's 10 of them, and I had nine in my upbringing.
mm,
So I had a lot of adversity. And so that you kind of, I don't, you put it together. So it's like my own life. And then, golly, so much trouble happens when families break down and it leads to so many mental health issues. And then, gosh, when I went through my own and I had to support my 15-year-old and my 10-year-old, I was like, blimey, this is really hard. And I found it impossibly difficult. And then I ended up actually having to represent myself all the way through my divorce because I couldn't afford to. So I was there in court at the final hearing. No solicitors, no barristers, although I did have some legal advice, but I didn't have a solicitor representing me. So you were kind of composting all of that experience. I went, there's a real need here. And one of the things that's good about me, which I feel is also good about you, is we don't mind talking about stuff. And you need people who don't mind going,
Yeah.
gosh, this is what it's really like, to be willing to have those conversations and open up that space. And I think we got more and more into it. And then I actually had a friend who asked me to help them with their relationship when it was ending. And I just thought, I can do this. And this is where my heart is taking me, and this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened. And my supervisor said to me that I'd said to her, I'm really looking for a change in direction. I've been a therapist for a long time. And yeah, well, she's actually done a forward for my book, or she's done a little testimonial thing in my book. And she said, look, you wanted to make a change, and now you've ended up somewhere that you just love being. It's hard work, but it's good work, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I completely get that, once you find what it is you want to do, you like, oh yeah, this is it. This is, it
Yeah.
lights you up, doesn't it? Because you're doing,
So,
it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
brilliant. Tell,
it
tell me,
is.
tell me a little bit about hope in all this, because obviously this podcast is about hope and we're exploring hope.
Mhm.
So how obviously hope plays a big role in what you do. Tell us a little bit about that, how it sort of can manifest.
Yeah, I think actually I think it's extremely important. So, and I see this a lot actually with my male clients.
Right.
Um, I think I don't, we all need hope, because hope is the thing that tells us that although it is dark, although there is a storm, although things are going haywire and we don't know what's going to happen next, hope is that kind of string that lets you know that if you follow that string, you'll get to the future. And what I see in my work, specifically really when I'm working with men, is that their hope is kind of tied very much to this plan about what the future is going to be like. In divorce and breakup, all of that future is shifted and taken away and made uncertain. And I think that happens when people have a diagnosis. It can happen at other points in people's lives. But around divorce and breakup, particularly for men, they very often experience what I would call a catastrophic loss of hope.
Hmm.
They just don't know that it's going to be okay.
Hmm.
They don't know. They don't know what an okay future will look like, because they had a future they were working towards.
Yeah.
And so I think it hits men really hard. And I don't know if there's much dialogue. I certainly don't hear much dialogue about men and the need for hope and generate hope, because it's not really very masculine, but it is incredibly important. And then for women who maybe have lived a difficult marriage, or maybe their husband has done everything,
Hmm.
and their hope is more, have I got it that I can make this work? Like, can I work out finances? Can I sort out how to get the car MOT'd and serviced? I've never been the person who had to talk to a builder who was coming around the house, and I don't know what to do. So for them, their hope has to be internal. I hope I've got it. I hope I can get it. I hope I can learn what I need to learn. And then for children, I think hope is based on experience. So for children, they very often haven't got the experience to know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so in each of those areas, and what I see is with parents, for example, talking to their children, well, they'll say, yes, but it's going to be okay, it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be better. And the kids are like, yeah, I don't think so. There's nothing in my experience that says this is going to get better.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe that. And so being able to have those really honest, and that's part of the difficult conversation, is saying to your children, well, I mean, I'm just going to be with you and we're going to work to make it better. But hope is based on work,
Yeah.
and we have to do the work to bring hope about, even
Yes.
though does that make sense? Although we need hope, like hope is, what do they say? It's like, I'm lucky. This is how hard I work to be lucky.
Yeah.
We have to be willing to work and be honest and authentic. to make hope action,
Yeah.
to make it a reality. I kind of think hope is a verb.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
a verb.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just a wish. It's a verb. It's an action. It's a do. You know, we've got to do hope.
That theme keeps coming up I chat
Does
to
it?
people,
Yeah.
and it comes up a lot. Yeah, hope,
Mm.
without action is pointless. Um,
Mm.
you've got to be able to take action for the hope to
Yeah.
be, and for the
Yeah.
hope to manifest
Yeah.
itself. It's
And I
interesting.
think with men sometimes that hope, and I think with women as well, it can kind of turn into a fight.
Mm,
You know, I'm going to fight each other to make a future, but actually that's not the way to do it. So, you know, it's interesting that it's coming up. I think it's funny, isn't it? Hope. It's such an important word, but you know, I feel there should be whole lessons on it at school about hope
yeah,
and how hope works. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely, absolutely. I was talking to Dr. Claire, the
Yeah.
psychologist, about it all, and it was
Mm,
an interesting conversation. We were saying about um, you know um, how we are sort of grown up with this path of life. Um,
mm,
you go to school, you have your exams, you do your job, you retire,
mm.
whatever. But there's sort of no sort of, oh, but to be happy, you need to do this. That
Yeah.
part might not necessarily make you happy.
Yeah.
And it isn't for a lot of people, is it? And I think people lose hope. And I think that's possibly where, I mean, obviously you're the expert with this, but often where relationships break down, when people's lives are so unhappy that they feel that they have to do something different and make a break, and
Yeah. Yeah.
often their own, find
Yeah.
themselves somewhere, because they haven't had
Mm.
to do it. It's yeah.
Well, I think there's a lie that's being sold, and the lie is that, well, if you do all of these things, then everything will be fine. And the universe has never worked that way. The universe gives us experiences and gives us skills and knowledge and learning and energy and all of these things. And then we have to weave our own path.
Mm,
And I can see it within the schools. And I do talk about it a little bit in my book that there's this idea that, you know, well, you're just going to ruin your future.
mm.
You know, if you eat the wrong food, you're going to ruin the future. If you do the wrong exercise, you're going to ruin the future. If you don't get the exams, you're going to ruin your future. And it's like, no, none of that is true. Like, it's just not true. Like, failure is an option. Failure is fantastic.
Mm.
It's how we could not learn to walk. You've watched your children learn to walk. I
Yeah.
watched mine. Children learn to walk by falling over continuously until the day that they fall over less,
Yes.
until eventually they
Yes.
don't fall over half so much, and
Yeah.
then falling over is quite rare.
Yeah.
Um, and that's how you learn to walk. You learn to walk by continuously falling over until you're sick of it, as far as I can see. Yeah.
No, I mean,
Um,
I'm often using that analogy myself, about talking about mistakes and failures.
yeah.
You don't see toddlers going, oh, sod that for a game of soldiers. I'm not trying that again. They keep
Yeah.
going. And it's their brains that are going, oh, perhaps if I move my arm, or
Yeah.
if I move my leg, or,
But
subconsciously,
yeah.
they're doing that, aren't they?
But you are now seeing children who are actually going. They're going, yeah, well, you know, I'm no good at football, so there's
Yeah.
no point. And it's like, and I've talked to adults about this. I'm like, you know, you can do these things for fun. Like, you know, you can write for fun, you can sing for fun. That's what I've recently been
Yes.
learning
Yes.
about. You can play football for fun. You can actually do this stuff just for fun. Like, it's a perfectly valid way of spending time on this planet. It's just doing it for fun. Like, it's okay. There
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a purpose. Just I'm writing a book. It was one of the most interesting things when I was writing, of learning that you could just write for fun. Like, you could just, and it didn't even have to be good. It could just be like, oh, you can buy a notebook because it's fun. You can get a new teacup because it's hilarious to you. You can, wow,
I think fun is really very
radical.
underestimated, isn't it?
Mm,
I'm a great believer in fun. It's good for the soul. It's good for your endorphins or your
yeah,
whatever it is.
it is.
Have a bit of fun, and I think it is drummed out of people. We're not here to enjoy ourselves. We're here to learn. What?
Yes. Although, remember, you've also got to follow your passions.
Yeah.
How does that work? But I think that is one of the things that then gets rid of hope. Because really, hope is about lightness. It's about fun. It's about freedom. It's about better days. It's about the sunshine coming out. It's about even when you experience a loss, knowing that you get left with these beautiful memories and having had these amazing experiences. And that fun is at the heart. They go together. They have to go together, I think. And peace goes together with hope too. You know, these are just human emotions and they need to be emphasized more, I think.
Now, you
Yeah.
mentioned your book. I would like
Yes,
you to tell me more about your book, Eve.
well, as you know, it's a weird experience writing because you think, oh, I'm going to write a book, and then one day you've got it and it's in your hands. And then, yeah. And so my book is about the fact that we need to be authentic and we need to speak up and we need to hold our boundaries and we need to speak our truth. Oh, we all know this. What we don't necessarily know is how do you do that? Like, how? Tell me exactly how. Okay. I've got a difficult person. I need to have I've got a boss who keeps talking over me at work. I need to hold my boundary. Okay, well, I think maybe I'll just look for another job. Instead of going, well, then how do you do it? So I spent a prodigious amount of time. I had my own difficult upbringing, so I had difficult conversations and I had to learn how to navigate arguments. My marriage was difficult at times. My life has been difficult, like all of us have been. And I thought, what if I could write a book that was about how you do it? But it was written in a way that was more gentle, that wasn't a kind of business-like book of like, well, you just need to like follow this, but actually something, because finding your voice, as I discovered along the path of writing my book, was discovering that I have poetry inside of me, which I'd never known, because you can't write poetry because I didn't know enough to write poetry. And it's got to be good. No, it doesn't. Although I think my poetry is okay. And then there were memories that came up of when I was a child and I couldn't speak, or in my life when I couldn't speak. And then, of course, there's all the stories of all the clients that I've had. So what I have done in my book is I brought all of that together. I brought my drawings together. I brought, um, because finding your voice and daring to speak isn't just about telling that boss that they keep speaking over to you and you need to have your voice. Finding your voice and daring to speak is about finding all aspects of your own voice, whether it's your singing voice, whether it's your writing voice, whether it's your playful voice, whether it's your funny accents that you might be able to do. And so my book is Dare to Speak. It's about why we can't speak, what stops us in childhood, the physiological things that happen in our bodies when we can't speak, and then this idea called the magic three, which is where we clarify what it is that we want to say, then we communicate it, and then very specifically, because I've done a lot of work in thinking about why does it not work, our ability to repeat what we're trying to say in a way that doesn't escalate. So if you take an example of trying to get a kid to put their shoes on.
Yeah.
Can you put your shoes on? We're going to be late for school. We need to put our shoes on. Like, why can't you just put your shoes on? What we're doing is that we're having 3 or 4 different sentence structures there, and we're escalating the imperative of what they need to do and why they need to do it. Whereas what we really want to do is say, please, can you put your shoes on? It's time to put your shoes on. Would you put your shoes on? Put your shoes on. Can you put your shoes on? Put your shoes on now. Put your shoes on. Because if you repeat, and that's the same as if you've got a husband who won't take the bins out. It's Wednesday, the bins need to go out. Would you put the bins out? I'd like you to put the bins out. Oh, you're nagging me. I'd love you to put the bins out. Why do you always have to? Why can't you do it? You just put the bins out for me. If you are able to repeat calmly without shaming, blaming, criticizing, shutting down, or having an almighty straw, then what happens is your message gets through, but it gets through calmly. And in the book, there's obviously loads of ways of calming yourself down, so you can do that.
You can do it, yeah.
But yeah, it's how do you do it in the real world, not in some kind of fantasy made-up world where it didn't work. And that it's hard, but it's worth doing.
Yeah. And
So
it's
that's what it's about.
something that has to be sort of practiced and learned, doesn't it?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
kind of way
Yeah.
of doing things, because it's human nature, isn't it, to, as you say, to
Mhm.
escalate. Oh, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah.
We're gonna, you know.
Yeah, I think so. And I think although loudness and kind of escalation, it seems to be really important in singing and actually in those kinds of verbalizations. Actually, when we're trying to communicate with somebody, no, nobody really likes being told what to do, Annie.
Mm,
So if we're going to tell somebody something, we can't just get hissy with them when they're not listening. We have to take responsibility for our side of the communication, and that means staying calm and clear and focused, and regulated.
yeah.
And it works. That's the thing. I've tried it out. I've tried it out on my clients and it works. And I tried it out in my life and it works. And yeah. So that's what it's about, really. It's not just that we need to, it's how the flipping heck we go about doing it.
Brilliant. And
Um,
what's the book called, Eve?
it's called Conversations at the Shoreline. Dare to speak. Navigate life's toughest conversations with confidence and clarity. And the reason why it's called Conversations at the Shoreline is because when I was a child, my parents sailed around the sea. So I was raised on the sea, hence kind of on my logo. I was raised on the sea and I came to land. And when I was writing the book, I had this vision of I was walking down the beach along the shoreline where the land meets the sea. This is where calmness meets chaos. It's where yin meets yang. It's where our future meets our past. It's where calmness meets chaos. It's bringing in the idea that there is a line in between where we can hold both sides,
Yeah.
but we can still have that conversation walking along the shoreline with somebody saying, this is what I need, or this is what's happened to me that I'd love to, or I'd love to hear from you what's going on with you, like how to listen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's called Conversations at the Shoreline.
Fascinating. I love
Because
that.
yeah, it's me. It's me in the end, because I live on the shoreline
Yeah.
in my life. I mean, not literally. I'm going to move to Suffolk and live in on the shoreline now. I want to
Excellent.
live by the sea.
Excellent. Pleased to hear it. Oh, but I love that. I mean, I love that image and the whole
Yeah.
idea. I love it.
Mhm.
Um, Now I'm going to ask you about singing now, because you mentioned
Oh
singing.
God, yeah, no, I do. Yeah, I'm so excited about that. It's right.
Tell us about your singing. Tell us what you're doing and what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, so I am working with Julie Bale, who is a fantastic singing teacher. And I went to see her absolutely full and certain. I'd had a singing lesson previously where I've been told I can't sing. And I didn't think I could sing. I didn't imagine I could sing. And I was ready for Julie to say, sorry, love, it won't happen. However, I decided that I wanted to work with her
Mm,
prior to finding out whether or not I could sing, because finding your voice matters. Like you can't just write stuff down in a book. You have to live what you believe in that's what I think. And I've got old enough now that I'm willing to live what I believe. So it felt to me that finding my singing voice was important. And Julie assured me that everybody can sing.
I
She
believe
said,
that.
and I believed her. And then we went and had our first singing lesson, and she lined me up. She put me in the right position. And then she did something, and I thought it's honestly, it's moving talking about it. I was talking about calling my dog's name, Sky, and she got me to kind of shout as if I was calling my dog's name and then
Yeah.
open up on the vowels. And then all of a sudden, this voice, honestly, Annie, this voice came out of me that I didn't know was there. And it's extraordinary, and I just love that part of that. I've got that inside of me, and I described it was like going into your house. I don't know if you've ever had this dream, but I do get dreams like this. I have weird dreams, where you have a dream that you go into a new room in your house that you've lived there for years, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden there's a new space
Yes.
there. And that was like finding my voice. It was like, oh my goodness, there's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? And so it's a real delight, and that's just made me so happy because it's joy and play and fun, and it's cool. I was walking the before coming on here, I was walking my dogs in the woods singing memories.
Oh, yes.
I was like, I don't care whether people can hear me in the woods. They all know I'm mental anyway, walking in the woods, because I'm always muttering or talking to people or recording a social media post.
Yeah.
But no, I was just singing and I was just letting it out. And I just thought, oh, this is who I want to be in life. I want to be that woman who's walking her dogs, just singing at the top of her voice. And, again, beauty of getting older, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've done that in my 20s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, you can tell looking at me, it's such a joy.
So
And then we're going to be singing at
yeah.
Chronicles of Hope on the 26th of September for your charity.
I know.
And it is, for me, I get goosebumps every single time I say it, every time I think it. It's like having a lighthouse. It's just amazing.
I'm so
So happy about it. Sorry, I'm
excited
going gushy at that point because I'm just so excited about it.
because
And I'm so proud.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So proud.
Absolutely, you should be. I mean, I've when I met Julie last year sometime,
Yeah.
started talking about singing. I'm
Mm.
completely on the same wavelength because I've always believed that anyone can sing. I'm one of those
Mm.
annoying. Oh,
Yeah.
and people say, "Oh no, I can't. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't." So yeah, you can. You
Yeah.
can.
Mm.
To meet Julie, who's just a brilliant teacher and a brilliant
Mm.
who's
Yeah.
actually proving that. Yes,
Yeah.
and we sing together.
Yeah. And I think it's magnificent because I think that, I mean, we were talking about hope and the Chronicles of Hope, you know, to know that at that concert, there are going to be people there who don't, who so few months before didn't think that was a possibility or didn't think it's something they could do. Or, I mean, there's a big difference between walking through my woods, singing at the top of my voice and actually standing on stage in front of people with an accompanist. And to me, that is hope.
Yeah.
But that's hope in action. That's like you're doing it. I hope it's going to be okay, but guess what? I'm going to do all the work in the meantime to make sure it is okay. And
Yeah.
I know that's going to be one of the proudest moments of my life to be able to be there, represent your charity, represent my voice, represent the voices of the people who'll be singing around me. It's kind of cool.
It is. I absolutely can't wait.
Yeah.
I absolutely. I
Mm,
was so delighted when Julie mentioned that the
yeah.
concert to be for the Chronicles.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me,
Yeah. And,
because
and it's her ambition as well. Like, I love the fact that she's got such a juicy ambition to put stuff like this on. It's really,
I mean, it would be easy for someone to say, "Oh, I'm only going to work with really, really good singers who have trained for years and years."
yeah,
But no,
yeah,
she wants people that think that they can't and show them that they can. It's just
yeah.
so much
Yeah.
hope in them. It's just
It
brilliant.
really is. And and she is, she's a professional singer. Her reputation is there. She's putting her belief and her reputation money where her mouth is, and we all get to be
Yeah,
part of that.
yeah.
So it's
I
fun.
just can't. It's going to be utterly, utterly fabulous.
Mm,
I
mm,
mean, tickets for that will be available at some point, so just look at the website if anyone's interested in that.
yeah, they
But
will be. They should be.
yeah, yes, we'll have a packed house, I'm sure. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
anyway, gosh, we're coming to the end now. Goodness me, it's been lovely chatting with you. I do ask
Yeah.
all my guests though one question, and that's
Mm.
what their message of hope is for my listeners. Do you have a message of hope, Eve?
So I do have a message of hope. My message of hope stems back to my sailing roots.
Mhm.
Okay. When you sail, when you're a sailor, your life is controlled to a large extent by the weather,
Mm.
whether you've got wind for your sails, whether you've got enough food to make it across the journey that you're doing, or water, what the weather will be like the next day, whether all the wind will be in the right direction, whether the currents will take you in the right place. And in order for us to get to our future, we can work, we can plan, we can study, we can prepare. That's all really, really important. But just knowing that the wind will come, because it always does come, the wind in our sails always comes. It does. Our job is simply to be ready for it, be ready to put our sails up. be ready to catch that wind when it happens. And that's something that I've kind of kept with me all of my life. And I really believe it's there. Like just being able, when you're sailing, you just wait, you put your sails up, you wait, and then they catch the wind and you move. And I think my message of hope to people is be prepared, because the wind will come and it will catch your sails and it will get you moving forwards. And that's just one of the most beautiful parts of life, is that happens. And I'm going to finish with the other bit, which is being able to talk about the fact that happens with these wonderful memories of your experience, of your biography, of what your life was like and how interesting it is. I encourage everybody to look at their own lives. And people always say, oh, well, I've had a boring life. They haven't, because every life is miraculous and it's full of these moments where the wind catches your sails and moves you forward a bit. So that's my message of hope.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, how lovely. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Evie. Now, if people are interested in what you do and want to get in contact with you, where's the best place?
I am on all social medias as Eve Stanway. Pretty much you can find me through that. But my website is evestanway.co.uk. And you can find me. You can Google me. Just put my name in. I pop up all over the place. But yeah, I really encourage people to reach out, to get in touch. If you're going through difficult times, I describe myself as a signpost or a guide, and I really do encourage people to get in touch. I always will chat to people, and if I can't help people, which, people need all sorts, then I'll help them, guide them to where they're meant to be. So yeah, I'm always happy to do that.
Eve Stanway, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
No, well, thank you so much, Annie, for having me. It's been a lovely, lovely conversation with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Chronicles of Hope podcast with me, Annie Bennett. I hope you found inspiration, comfort, or perhaps even a newfound perspective around the meaning of hope. To find out more about the aims of the Chronicles of Hope organisation, please visit thechroniclesofhope.org, where you will find links to our social media accounts and where you will be able to make a much needed and appreciated donation. Thank you.